My Lord, what a morning. My Lord, what a morning. Oh, my Lord, what a morning. When the stars begin to fall. When the stars begin to fall.
Oh, what a morning, and good morning, everybody. What a beginning to our morning together. Welcome to the Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Mary Klein-Golbetz, and I'm honored to be your worship assistant today. If you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you here. And we welcome everyone here, whether it's your first time or your 1,000th time. And we welcome you who are joining us online. As Unitarian Universalists, we're a people of diverse beliefs, but we share a common faith. Every person is worthy of love. That what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected to one another and to the earth. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey here, you are welcome here. If you're in person, we invite you to join us for social time following the service for light refreshments. Our main fellowship hall is on this floor, directly behind the sanctuary to my right. You can reach it through the hallway. Our family-friendly fellowship hall with snacks and activities for all ages is upstairs in room 214, accessible by the back stairs or the elevator. After fellowship time, please join us for religious exploration and small group gatherings, as listed on the back of your order of service. It is such a joy to be with each of you today. Now we will light our chalice as the symbol of our Unitarian Universalism. Olivia Gibson. Is Olivia here with us? There you are. Thank you so much for helping us light our chalice. Our chalice lighting words are adapted from the work of Claudine Oliva. We light this chalice, this symbol of our faith, for all who nurture. We light this chalice to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing another, a baby, a child, a youth, or an adult. We light this chalice to celebrate all those who have nourished the light of peace, creativity, truth, and compassion in others and in the world. Thank you so much, Olivia. And now, in the spirit of love and the beloved community, let's share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. And please now, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to turn to your neighbors and offer greetings. And for those online, please use the chat to introduce yourselves.
morning, everybody. It is so good to see all your smiles, your hellos and your greetings and hugs. What a wonderful place to be this morning. My name is Reverend Christina Branum-Martin. I'm the minister here, and I use she, her pronouns. And today is a day that is weighty in the sense that we will be acknowledging that Mother's Day is a day that can be complicated. It is a day certainly filled with joy for so many and also with so many emotions. So together we will create a circle of care where we make space for the complexity of life that can both bless and break our hearts. And in this circle of care, we honor the truth that mothering is not and never will be quantified by one single descriptor. Mothering is not limited to a certain role or gender. Instead, mothering is something we can all offer. Mothering is nurturing another into fullness. There is no human being that is not connected to someone who nurtured them, nor can we ignore the invitation to nurture others into love and life itself. So in this circle, we honor the complexity of the experience of mothering, honoring the truth in each of our hearts. There is room for all in our hearts in this circle. If you have carried a child or children, whether or not they came to be born, there is room for you. If you have chosen not to continue a pregnancy or been partnering someone who made that choice for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance, there is room for you. If you love children that we cannot see, whether because of death or estrangement, there is room for you. And if you never wanted to be a mother, there is room for you. And if you are happy to mother other people's children as an educator, as an auntie, as an uncle, as a foster parent, there is room for you. If you never had a mother at all, there is room for you. And if your mother was or is your best friend, there is room for you. If your gender says you are not a mother and yet you take on the role of nurturer, there is room for you. And if you wonder whether or not your mothering has been enough, there is room for you. And if yours is a different truth altogether, we honor your unspoken story. There is room for you in this circle because there is a circle of love that surrounds us. May it be so today and always. And I would like to invite Star up here, who has a reading too about this topic.
The moon knows my secrets. She knows the ones buried so deep I don't even remember. She holds my truths, my joys, my pains. She sits with me. The moon knows who I am. She whispers my name when things get dark. She says everyone has a period of darkness, but slowly and surely you'll be full again. I don't know if I believe her this time, but I know she's right. The moon, she carries me in my sleep, protecting me from the voices that get too loud in my brain. She's become my mother, one who I know won't let go even if I scream at her. She's the one thing that holds me to this earth when it feels like everything else screams for me to go. The moon knows my secrets.
I want you to know that Star will be moving away to go to college in California. No, Portland. And with celebration, let's clap for her, yes. just used the wrong pronouns. No, it is not okay. I apologize. It's important for me to get it right, and I made it wrong. What is important for me today also is that I was thinking of you, your name, and also your hair color. I was thinking of you as I imagined you packing your bags, and I got you something that's not breakable to put in your bags. It's a chalice in the shape of a star. It's 3D printed, so don't put a real candle in it.
have real candles in the dorm.
Okay. I love you, and you have allowed me to mother you in a way that helps me feel more full. And I appreciate that even when I make mistakes, you give me grace and space to do so. I love you, and I wish you all the best in your travels. This feels like a kid leaving my home. Let's sing together. There's a beautiful hymn called Comfort Me, and the slides will be up in a moment. And if you would stand and sing with me. I want to acknowledge that I'm a little hot in my robe up here, and I have seen a few of you also waving your order of service. We had this temperature set on the heat setting for winter, and it had not been switched over yet, but it is on. And so maybe by the time the service is over, we'll be a little bit more comfortable. But it is 76 degrees in here right now. Olivia, would you come help me with the stones? Each week, we put stones in a bowl. The stones have weight, like things that weigh down our heart, but also they are smooth and give us space for joy and the expression of being together, and the water receives them with ease. We place 3 stones each week, and the first is in honor of the Cherokee and the Muskogee nations of the indigenous peoples of whose land we reside on. The second is in memory of those wrongly enslaved who labored on this land. And the third is holding all of those who are hurting in current conflicts and war raging across our globe. We have a few things to share. Would you put a stone in for Indigo Rose Bow? Asks for prayers for her great-grandmother-in-law recovering from a fall and a broken hip. And I think it says box. Did I get it right? No, I got it right. Oh, this is a really good one. Connor Parker started a new job as an Amazon driver. We are so glad. And please celebrate Tom and Bernadine Cataletta's 60th wedding anniversary. Thank you so much, dear. Let's share the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness as we close this. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be. Just a little water. It's all right.
Each week, Emerson shares half of our offering with community partners beyond our walls. This month, we are partnering with the Must Ministries Breakfast Program for Hope House clients in Marietta who are experiencing food insecurity. Because the number of unhoused people has risen, and because food is more expensive, we have chosen a 5-Sunday month in hopes that we can raise enough funds for the year. Must Ministries serves breakfast daily for clients at the Must Hope House. Emerson volunteers cook and serve scrambled eggs, turkey sausage, biscuits, and cheese grits for 70 people every second Monday. We enjoy the gratitude of the residents at the serving line, so we thank you on their behalf and for funding the program. Please let Mark Cobb know if you would like to help with this program. Our partnership with Must Ministries to fight food insecurity is a great way to serve our community. So we ask that you please give generously to keep this program going. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see in your order of service other ways to give. For those online, please go to emersonuu.org, select the Giving tab to donate. For children and those with a sweet tooth, there are lollipops in the basket too. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully received.
morning, good morning, good morning. Can I have the young and the young at heart come join me up here? Good morning. We have Miss Judy here who's going to do our story today.
Hi, this is a story from the Ininiwak tradition about a medicine bundle that the mother gathers for the baby before the baby is born. And it's written by Tasha Spillett Sumner and illustrated by Michaela Goad. And when we get to the end, I sometimes have a little trouble with the very last page. So if everybody in the audience who has a mothering role would want to help me read it, that would be great. I loved you before I met you. Before I held you in my arms, I sang you down from the stars. As I searched for your eyes in the sky, I saw a shooting star. I followed it to a fluffy white eagle plume. I held on to it, the first gift in a bundle that will be yours. Summer was fading into fall on the day I found out that you had chosen to make my body your first home. Together we went to gather cedar and sage, medicines that will keep our spirits strong through the winter. When you are old enough, I will teach you how to use them. Into your bundle they go. As the north wind blew, you grew bigger and stronger. Waiting for you taught me about patience and love. With care in my hands, I sewed your first star blanket. With each stitch, I whispered a prayer for you and thought about wrapping you up warm and safe, just like you are now in my belly. Into your bundle it goes. As the ice began to melt, we visited the river. When our people travel the waterways, the song of the rushing rapids calls us home. I picked up a small stone for you so that you always remember you belong to this place, just like the stones you put in the water. Into your bundle it grows. You arrived in the spring with the waters that come when the ice breaks and the rivers flow again. For the first time, after our long wait, I looked down at you and found stars in your eyes. Our hearts danced together. I honored your journey from the sky by passing on the gifts I had gathered for you. This, my baby, is your sacred medicine bundle. First, I wrapped you in your star blanket and held you close to me. The fluffy plume I found when I followed the shooting star is a reminder that there is beauty all around us. We just have to look and see. Medicines of cedar and sage are for you to keep your spirit strong. When you hold this stone from the river, remember that the land carries stories, and so do you. Family and friends came from near and far to welcome you. One by one, they held you and greeted you. You brought them so much love and joy. I saw that you, my baby, are also a sacred bundle. You are my baby bundle. Can everybody say this last page, please? As I held you close, I whispered in your ear, I loved you before I met you, before I held you in my arms, I sang you down from the stars.
All right.
And I have some stars for you to take with you if you want them. I have little stickers and I have big stars, whichever you want. Or you can have both. Come and, okay, here, come and take what you want after we sing our song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, why don't we do our song first before we get our stars, okay? So just a reminder, anyone who's under the age of 8 can meet me in the back, and I will walk you to the playroom, and let's sing our song of dedication. And words are on the back of your program.
I have a glass of water back here, and it spilled, so we wiped it up. Mother's Day is reported to have begun in 1908 by Anna Jarvis in honor of her mother. If you Google Mother's Day, that's the history you'll see. But that's Mother's Day with a single apostrophe. But Mother's Day, S apostrophe, in the plural, actually started in the 1870s, when the sheer enormity of the death caused by civil war and then the following war, the Franco-Prussian War, convinced American women that we must take our politics into our own hands. And at the time, it was said to be to take the power away from the men who had permitted such carnage. Mother's Day was not designated at that time to encourage people to be nice to their mothers. Instead, it was an international peace movement by women to end war everywhere. That came across too strangely. I apologize for the wording. Perhaps we can end war and be nice to our mothers too. Reverend Amy Beltane, a classmate of mine in seminary, researched this history extensively, and she wrote that in the American Civil War, naive Americans thought that it would be a simple war. Yet it was mass death that at that time in their modern era had circumstances where soldiers of all sides of issues marched off to war with fantasies of heroism and discovered the long-range weapons turned death into tortured anonymity. Thousands and thousands of people died. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. There were no places to bury them, and dysentery killed so many. And it was the women who watched their husbands, brothers, sons march off to war and were haunted by the results. The women lost fathers, husbands, and sons, and the men who did come home were scarred in body and mind. Modern war, it seemed, was not a game. But out of war came a sense of women's empowerment. When the men went off to war, women bought war bonds, they paid taxes, they raised money for the war efforts, they managed the farms, they harvested the fields, they even worked in the war industries, they reared their children alone and nursed the returning injured soldiers. And when the war ended, women intended to keep their roles. They didn't want to go back to the kitchen and only the sole role of raising children. thus brings about the American suffrage movement. In 1869, women organized the National American Women's Suffrage Association and the American Women's Suffrage Association to promote women's rights to have a say in the American government. One such woman and Unitarian was Julia Ward Howe, who was a public lecturer in Boston. She lectured on abolition and education and women's rights. She spoke often in Unitarian congregations and on these matters and to the public, and as her stature grew, she became a key figure in the Suffrage Association. She even penned the lyrics to the Battle of the Hymn of the Republic. And in those lyrics, she noted that Christ was born a woman. Born of a woman, I'm sorry. Wow, that's gonna go down in history. Oh my goodness. And when this goes on YouTube, I might have to correct that. Oh my goodness. Now, being born of a woman, to be noted of such stature in a hymn being sung all across the country was such a feminist statement at the time. The role of activism in her life and in women's lives became such a collective process all across the Boston area and then spread across the Americas. And women gathered to end war. In her public lectures, she reflected that the Civil War had been so traumatic with terrible bloodshed and a loss of life. But the fact that emancipation for those enslaved human beings made it justified. But another war broke out right after, the Franco-Prussian War, and she said, I had to sit down in the middle of the night. She penned this in a published lecture. She said, I was visited by a sudden feeling of the cruel and unnecessary character of the contest. It seemed to me a return to barbarism, the issue having been one that might easily have been settled without bloodshed. The question forced itself upon me, she said, why do not mothers of mankind interfere in these matters to prevent the waste of that human life of which they alone know and bear the cost? I think of all the mothers now, with people going off to war and knowing that their hearts too are broken. We're going to pause for the choir anthem in the midst of this sermon. It depicts the high cost of war. It was written for the musical 1776, and it portrays a wounded soldier on the battlefield, calling for his mother to come to him. Mama, he says, look sharp. The lyrics are in the back of your order of service. Julia Ward Howe spoke and lectured and pleaded for us to understand the emotional weight of war, and that anthem certainly speaks to it. She had a new vision. She said the august dignity of motherhood and its terrible responsibilities call to our hearts. She wrote an appeal to womanhood throughout the world, and in it she declared that men always had and always would decide the questions resorting to the murder of war. But she said women do not have to accept the state of affairs. Mothers could demand that their sons stop the madness. Arise, women, she commanded. We will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage and the caresses of death. Our sons shall not be taken for us to unlearn all that we have taught them of charity and mercy and patience. We, women of one country, will also be tender to those mothers of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. She had her document translated into French and Spanish and Italian, German and Swedish, and she paid out of her own monies and sent them to contacts in Europe and had those pamphlets spread all across Europe. She believed that an international women's peace movement would be the next great development of human history, and then ending war, just as the anti-slavery movement had worked. Perhaps we too could end war together. She called for an international festival which could be observed as Mother's Day, and it would be devoted to world peace. She declared that it would be June 2nd of every year, a date that would permit open-air meetings. She worked for years, and she created conferences of women's clubs, and she worked to unite women all over the country and Europe. Through this process, she continued to work on women's suffrage in order to create a more just and peaceful society, and she said women must take up their rightful place as equal participants in American politics. She said that women should take up their own voices, tell their stories. To gain political power, she said that's what a true Mother's Day is about. So on this day where sometimes the Hallmark cards sanitize this history and also make the complicatedness of Mother's Day unspoken, may we remember in our circle of care we created with each other that Julia Ward Howe's conviction that women's voices be heard are a call to all of us. We are called to create peace wherever we can. We must make our voices heard, tell our stories, stand on our convictions that war is not the answer. And we'll close this service with a beautiful reading of Julia Ward Howe's proclamation that she sent out in those pamphlets. There's a video that will be shown that was created by another congregation. And then we'll close with song.
Arise, all women who have hearts.
Whether your baptism be that of water or of tears.
Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies.
Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause.
Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience.
We women of one country will be too tender those of another country.
To allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs.
From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own.
It says, disarm.
Disarm. The sword is not the balance of justice.
Blood does not wipe out dishonor or violence indicate possession.
As men have often forsaken the plow and go after sons of the Lord.
Let women now leave all who be left at home for a great and earnest day of council.
Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead.
Let them solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace.
Each learning after their own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God.
In the name of womanhood and of humanity,
I earnestly ask that the General Congress of Women, without limit of nationality,
may be appointed and held in some place deemed most convenient and at the earliest period consistent with its objects.
To promote the alliance of the different nationalities.
The amicable settlements of international questions.
the great and general interest of peace.
May peace be available for all. May all of our children who were sung down from the stars, like in that book, find peace in the arms of their mothers. May we all find ways in which to make our voices heard. May we tell our stories and call forth for what we need in this world. Peace. Let's sing together, There Is More Love Somewhere. Join with me, if you would, in body or in voice. Please stand. So much. Olivia, would you help me put out the chalice? Oh, she went. I'm wondering if Olivia's brother might want to help. Come on up.
Thank you so much. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. And we have one announcement today. Please mark your calendars for Emerson's annual congregational meeting. Thank you so much. It's next Sunday, directly after the service. We will vote on the proposed budget for the next fiscal year based on the total pledges received as of this week. We will also vote on the nominated people for leadership positions, and we thank you in advance for attending. Our bylaws hold that a quorum of 30% of Emerson members is needed to have a vote. You can vote at the meeting, or you can vote by proxy. And please see Emily in the office if you need to arrange for a proxy.
And Michael would like those who are in the middle school, junior high, and senior high groups to make sure to meet in the Memorial Garden right after the fellowship time.
And now as our service ends, go in peace and take peace wherever you go.
There is more hope.